Hello, it's me, the guy you've never seen. Today we're talking about Apple and how the product's run by assholes and, yeah, I don't know how to rhyme with that, but we're fucking talking about Apple. I mean, even the people that buy from Apple know that they're trying to, like, squeeze every single dollar out of you at every waking moment. And if you use their products and purchase their stuff, you always have to quadruple Google search or quadruple check to make sure Apple isn't gonna, like, you know, have you buy DaVinci Studio on the Mac store and then, like, say, oh, by the way, you can only use it on this MacBook now and you don't get DaVinci Studio for anything else. That's what I should have done, but I didn't do it because I didn't know Apple was the fucking devil. Now you might be asking me, what is the point of this video? It's a common, well-known topic that brings in views. But also, I'm going to try to convince you that that my Motorola, can't show you that. My Motorola Stylus G is better than the newest iPhone. It might be a tough sell. I'm a firm believer that Apple likes to sack tap their customers every single year when they're releasing new stuff. In the facet that every time Apple comes out with a new product, there's always a little gimmick with it that kind of screws the consumer over. And you can just feel the fucking the soul of Steve Jobs in every product. Like, for instance, the HomePod. Epic segue. You fucking like that, you dirty bitch?
I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple pen.
But again, what it comes down to is what HomePod can do and what HomePod can't do. It can play music through Apple Music. So you can ask Siri to play a song or a playlist or play the radio. And if you're an Apple Music subscriber, it's hooked up to your iPhone and it'll work. But let's say you're one of the 70 million people who uses Spotify and not Apple Music. Yes, technically it can work. Kinda. You can AirPlay from Spotify to a HomePod, but then your voice controls don't work as well. You can't ask for a certain song or a certain playlist. You can go forward and backwards in your track list, but that's about it. It's not ideal.
Forcing people to use Apple Music has to be like a violation against the Geneva Convention. Spotify is so far ahead of all the other streaming platforms for music. I don't know why some companies feel the need to like fight it and put their own grubby hands in like the proverbial music streaming cookie jar. YouTube has a music platform. Apple has one that people only use because it's already on their phone. Even fucking Nintendo has one, okay? But Nintendo has one strictly to grief. And that is because Nintendo would rather see the earth burn to the ground than people use their copyright from games that were popular in like 2000. I know some of you might say that the HomePod is like 7 years old or whatever. It came out in like 2018. It's old news, Bradley. It's yesterday's paper, all right? And I will admit 7 years is a long time in the technological world, okay? I would counteract your point with a couple words. Headphone jack.
What is up, guys? TechRex here. So a lot of people have been complaining recently that the new iPhone 7 lacks the headphone jack. It's something that's been on every generation model iPhone. It's not there anymore. You got to use an adapter or you got to wait until the $159 wireless earpods that you might drop and somebody's going to step on. So follow along, guys. I don't even have to talk here. So now if it starts doing this, guys, this is perfectly normal.
The iPhone 7 had a major flaw in it, and that was it didn't have a headphone jack. And today, this may not seem like a big issue because everything is wireless nowadays, but like this is 2016, dude. This is when Logan Paulers were at their peak. Fucking dabbing was the shit, and TikTok did not exist. It was a great time to be alive. Anyway, headphone jacks. A lot of people still used wired stuff back then. Like, I mean, it was becoming obsolete, but it still was a thing. And obviously this would allow you to use non-Apple products on the iPhone. And subsequently, this made Apple cry and shit their pants.
Are you serious right now?
So they took away the headphone jack. Technically, you can still connect third-party devices, but to be fair, they take away a lot of the features for that. Like, you can use Bluetooth to connect to your fucking skull crushers or whatever, but there's gonna be latency. There's gonna be a bunch of other issues that you wouldn't have if you got AirPods, which is like the entire intent. They want you to go buy AirPods or those stupid-looking headphones. I don't know what they're called. The gay headphones, the Air Maxes or whatever the fuck they're called. Nobody's wearing those things, dude. They look fucking terrible. There's countless other instances of Apple being scummy like this, like the iPhone 12 when they literally sent it without the fucking charging block.
Oh, why wouldn't they include a charging block with a $1,000 phone? Well, that's exactly what I'll explain right now. Material that makes up each power brick is a very durable plastic designed to keep users safe if the unit overheats, but that also means it's difficult to break down and recycle, contributing to the growing e-waste problem. Also, Apple claimed that over 2 billion iPhone power bricks are already in circulation, so most users wouldn't need a new one anyway. But there's more to the story that Apple hasn't mentioned. For example, the vast majority of power blocks already in use aren't USB-C, which means the cable and
Apple tried to reason with this by saying, oh, it's the environmental concerns. You know, everybody already has a charging block and, you know, all these would just go into a landfill, which was true if you own the iPhone 11 and only the iPhone 11. Because when Apple made the iPhone 11, they switched charging blocks. So basically, you did have the charging block for Apple if you bought the iPhone 11. If you bought the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, you're just fucked. Because what that meant for you is you just spent $800+ on this new phone, proceeded to unbox it, and come to the horrible realization that unless you had the previous iPhone, which you didn't, you now have to go out again and buy a new goddamn charging block, which would be like, I don't know, $20. Tack that on. Tack så mycket. That means subscribe and like it, the video in Swedish. Sure, trust me. Does not mean that.
I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple pen.
If you didn't know, Apple is a luxury item, which means you have a decent amount of disposable income if you buy it, which can also mean you piss your money down the sink because you have the funds to do so. For instance, my disposable income goes to Animal Jam Premium, you know, Animal Jam Plus. I fucking love Animal Jam. A different example could be, I don't know, Legos, which I talked about in my previous video. You see what I did there? The problem I have with luxury items is not the price, it's the image they promote. Companies like Apple or Gucci, Prada, maybe Lego, no, probably not Lego. But companies like Apple, Gucci, and Prada, they all kind of market towards being a status symbol of sorts. Let me give you a sick example here. Let's say, for instance, you know, my homeboy, he's walking to school, he's got a Prada bag. First thing I'm thinking is, why does my homeboy have a purse? Are you gay? Second thing I'm thinking is, damn, he's got racks, he's got bread. He spent his shit on a Prada bag. Because the materials of these luxury items can be, like, I guess, high quality, but it always comes with like an egregious price attached to it. Like, listen, I don't care if the leather's from a baboon's ass. It's not worth like $3,000. And this is because they don't follow the usual rule of thumb for companies that manufacture stuff, you know, sell it a little bit above how much it costs to make. They sell based off the name that they have obtained from their brand. So basically they jack up prices because they know you're gonna buy it so you can do some epic flexing on your little brother or some shit. I mean, if you really think about it, guys, how much worse is a knockoff phone like mine than an actual iPhone? Okay, yes, technically the specs are way inferior to an iPhone, but in my opinion, phone companies overestimate the fuck out of what people actually do with their phones. Like, your phone's not a computer. It doesn't, like, you don't need to do computer stuff on your phone anyway. That's why you would get a computer. If you're just purely getting a phone because it's a gaming device, iPhones cost just as much as PCs anyway, and they cost more than consoles. So I think you're really your brain's made of rocks if you do that. I use my phone to call people, text people, and beat my dick. If my phone didn't do anything besides that, I'd probably be fine. An iPhone user could literally walk up to me and be like, my iPhone has face and cock recognition software with 100 gigabytes of RAM and has 12 quadrillion pixel display screen. And then I'd be like, well, you know, my phone unlocks by my fingerprint and the screen looks fine when I'm beaten off, so I'm fine with what I got.
I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple pen.
Generally, I haven't gotten Apple products in my life. In fact, I've never had an iPhone because when I first started getting my phones, my grandparents were like, we're not spending $800 on a fucking phone. Which probably saved me a lot of money in the long run because that means I never have been bounced on that Apple cock. But I have one Apple product that I have bought recently. And that is my MacBook, all right? My MacBook, my $1,700 MacBook, the hole in my wallet that is yet to be healed. I'd be 100% lying to you if I said I've used this thing more than like 20 times, which if you think about it is very tragic and very financially stupid. But I guess I'm just not a laptop guy. I don't know. Originally, I was gonna use this thing for video editing, which it worked fine for. I mean, it's the price of a Honda Civic, so I mean, hopefully it would work. A used Honda Civic at that. It's also like literally meant for DaVinci software. Yes, I just doxed my editing software. Okay, I'm not spending $60 a month for a fucking Adobe. But unfortunately, there is one problem I have with this hunk of metal right here. It's the Mac OS. Okay, the Mac OS. It's dead. Like, what the fuck are these 3 little dots in the corner? I didn't know that they were supposed to be a tabbing mechanism for like 2 weeks. It's on the top left. I repeat, the top left, which, by the way, goes against every other application that has ever existed. Every other application, the tabbing system is on the right. The top fucking right. You think you're one of them special girls, huh? iPhone, Apple? You think you're fucking cool? Put that shit on the right now. I probably can. I could probably customize it. And Apple feels kind of like a cult in the facet that everything you buy with your Apple device has to be Apple. Like, it's not customizable at all. Like, let's say my charger breaks for my fucking my Mac over there. I have to get a brand new one that only Apple makes, by the way. They're magnetic. They're magnetic chargers. Complete pieces of shit, by the way. I mean, it feels like you gotta bend the knee to the company in a way, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that's just exclusively Apple. It's a closed system, which means you can't open, like, the MacBook. You can't open, I don't even know, I don't think they make PC. Like, when they did, you couldn't open them. They were closed. They're gatekeeping the parts. That's what they're doing. And yeah, that's my experience with Apple. It was okay.
I have a pen. I have an apple.
My conclusion for this epic video is that Apple is a scummy company, but that's like pretty well-known knowledge, I'd say. My synopsis is, if you think about it, it kind of encourages people with a higher income to flaunt their wealth by saying, oh, I have the new iPhone, I have the new Gucci, the new fucking Nike shoes, you know? In a way, it kind of does just, you know, feel like a status symbol over an actual piece of technology. You can't customize most of their products, and it really stifles the encouragement to learn about computers and tinker on them, and kind of stifles creativity altogether. In that way, it kind of does ironically resemble its co-creator, Steve Jobs. It's cold, it's rigid, it's stiff at times, but also at the exact same time, it's brilliant and it has an insatiable drive to succeed. And part of me thinks that's poetic, but another part of me thinks it's kind of tragic. They should have listened to Woz. Woz knew what was going on. He wanted an open system. He was the man.